Hi, everybody, and welcome to Dawn of Sports. I'm Dawn Mitchell, and this week we have an awesome guest. He's back for a second run, so he likes us. Yeah, all right, Jim. He actually came back. We have Travis Singleton. You may know him as Sneaker Reporter. It is basketball season again, but we're going to talk to him about that and much more coming up.
He's back because he likes you. Let's clarify here.
I like both of you guys.
This is Dawn of Sports. Alex Halligan's going to be our producer today. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio. Best way to listen to this show or any show at TalkNorth.com. Please subscribe to your favorite podcast app. We are doing some of our shows via YouTube these days, including the John Krasinski Show and the Viking Update Show and Randy Shaver's High School Football Show. Check those out as well. Thanks to Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. Thanks to Minnesota Masonic Charities. Back to Dawn.
All right. Well, maybe we'll put your beautiful mug on YouTube with me soon, right?
Why would we do that?
Well, because people want to see the beautiful face.
No, they don't.
Of Jim Souhan.
No, we've done experiments. We understand.
We did test groups.
We have not gotten the right response. We're not going to do that.
So you have a face for the radio.
I have a face for podcasts. My face wasn't even good enough for radio.
Really?
I had to go podcast.
That's crazy. I feel like you can do both. If you can podcast, you can do radio.
That's a nice theory. I don't think it's true.
You don't think so?
Well, I did radio, and that's why I'm doing podcast. I mean,
were you canceled on radio?
No. Kind of. I tell you, I mean, honestly, my experience in Twin Cities radio is why I started a podcast network. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
I did not like that experience.
That.
And I wanted to only talk to people I want to talk to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to not have to have staged arguments.
Yes.
I wanted to just say, I don't want to, like John Krasinski and I do two shows together, and we don't agree on everything, but we never yell at each other. We never act like the other's an idiot.
Yeah, that's not reality.
You just talk through it.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I felt like, radio was always like, okay, you have to be on this side, and I have to be on this side, and we have to yell at each other.
Yeah.
It just got really old.
Yeah, I don't
so you
like
like to control the narrative.
I like to have an honest conversation.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Honest and real. That's what we're about.
Yep.
There's nothing
Travis,
wrong.
we're about honest and real.
When people are honest and real, that's when I pull up.
Well, and that's why I think the first time we had you on the show, we did remote. Yeah. And I said, it's just so much better when you're in person. You can see each other face to face, kind of have a really fun conversation. And,
for sure.
And I get people to know you even more because, I mean, I adore you, first of all, because I met you and it was sports and basketball. But then finding out after that, we're home slices from Massachusetts together. Mm-hmm. So, it just brings that warm fuzzy.
Just brought it all together.
It did. Brought it all together.
So I got to say, Massachusetts is one of my favorite states.
Really?
Well, we can adopt you, Jim.
I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm up for it.
Okay, cool.
They do call us massholes, though, if you're okay with that reference.
Yeah, but make sure you get the M in there. Minnesotans are like closet holes.
I said mass.
We're massholes, though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know what you said.
Yeah.
But I mean, Boston's a beautiful historic city.
It is.
It's got everything. It's gorgeous. And I've been to, we have relatives that live in the suburbs. They're really cool. The little small towns are really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool. I love the place.
The only thing I don't like is that, we're still paying tax dollars on a lot of stuff that hasn't been done. Like, that's
true.
The big dig has been like the biggest thing for like
the big gouge in the wallet forever.
Yeah. They haven't done anything with it. And that's been going on since like 2005. So.
Well, I think you'll find a correlation between, I think every really nice state with really nice cities and good education and everything, you're probably going to be overtaxed. I think that's the price you pay to live in a nice state.
Yeah,
because I've been to red states. I've been to Texas, and the places they don't tax you, they're pretty bad.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I lived in Texas for 3 years, so
I was there for about 5, 6.
Yeah, so I try to get out of there quick.
Me too.
That's
why I'm here.
Hey, I love Houston. Don't get me wrong. I love my Houston fans.
All right, I want to ask you this then, before we get into basketball and everything. What is your number one thing, like when you moved here to Minnesota, right? And I call them Minnesota moments, which I find them to be so adorable now, but there's always an adjustment. Mm-hmm. Like for me, my example is the first time I pulled into a parking ramp, it was actually a ramp, like where you kind of went in and went straight up. Mm-hmm. And I was asked, and there's cones everywhere. So I said, where do I park? And the guy was like, on the ramp. And I was thinking like right there, like I'll be in the way. Like, so I took it so literally. And we're going back and forth, like who's on first. And this lady's coming down. She goes, honey, the whole thing, this whole structure, this is a ramp. We call it a ramp. And I was like, so a Minnesota moment. Like, have you ever had anything like, and borrow me a something like that expression? I'm like, what? Yeah, can you borrow me a pen? I'm like, that's actually physically impossible. I can't do that.
I've never heard that.
Yeah. And I said, there's it's called lend, and there's lenders and borrowers, right? I can't borrow you anything. I can lend it to you. So those are my 2 Minnesota moments out of many that I hold them close to my heart. I do.
I don't really have a Minnesota moment, but the moment when I knew I moved to Minnesota and I knew I was like in the cold was this guy I'll never forget it. I'm downtown. So this guy like is delivering a Domino's pizza in a blizzard on a bike.
That is Minnesota.
And I was like, wait a minute. So I'm looking at him and I'm like, you're barely moving in this snow. And on top of that, like he's not complaining. He has a smile on his face and everything.
You're like, I'm not Massachusetts anymore. Because I'm like, get your own pizza.
Yeah, I was like, this is a different type of cold and a different type of people, you know. But one thing I do realize though is they are very passionate when it comes to certain things. Like you guys own the Minnesota Fair. Like there's certain things the whole state gets behind, you know, like the Vikings, you know, even Mall of America. So those are the things like in Massachusetts, we don't get behind that. You'd be like, oh, I'm at Braintree Mall or whatever. I have fun.
And we'd be like, sorry, you might not make it back.
Yeah. It's like we kind of don't care about that stuff, but you guys come together. There's a togetherness about Minnesota that I do appreciate.
Yeah, the loyalty back east comes from like I can make fun of my sister, but you can't make fun of my sister.
Exactly.
You know, like, hey, I got my friends back. But I said, like, if I moved directly from Massachusetts to Minnesota, I might have had an easier transition. I was in Chicago for 5 years and like almost 2 years in Milwaukee before that. And I had to add time onto my day to be nice to people in Chicago because Chicagoans talk to you.
It's rough.
They talk to you. I like, not that I was not nice, but I like it back east. Like you're on TikTok, like you're going to work, you know, everybody's moving. And I would walk my dog and I would see people at the coffee shop and talk to them. And all of a sudden I had to go because I had to drop my dog off and I'd go to work. And the next day, those Chicagoans tell you like, hey, you left really fast. You okay? Was something wrong yesterday? I go, oh no, I just had to get to work. They're like, oh, schedule more time to talk to us. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I did that. And I said, okay, when I moved to Minnesota, I'm going to have to add an hour and a half or 2.
Yeah.
Nope. Yeah. Nope. Just like Massachusetts.
Yep.
But
unless they went to high school with you.
Oh, unless they went to high school. Well, here it's Sven and Ollie. Back east, it's just Sully and Smitty. I mean, it's just but the same with Massachusetts is, all right, you might not be one of us quite yet, but once you're in, you're in.
That's true. That is very true. Once you're in, we're loyal to you. We're going to hold you down. Everybody's on the good side. But as soon as we catch you with a Yankees hat or something, then we disown you right away.
Oh, yeah. Unless it's Jeter. Like he's the only exception. You can like Jeter, but you have to hate the Yankees.
I agree.
Right?
I agree with you. I agree. This is crazy. And never mind. I'm not even going to say it because we would have got canceled. So I'm not going to say it.
We can always erase it. So you can take
take a swing for the fences.
It's just tough for me to really grab a hold of the A-Rod thing. Being a Red Sox fan.
Yes, I hear you.
Does that make sense?
Well, it's going to be really interesting covering this team because it's hard for me to get on board with A-Rod because I know so much about A-Rod. I was a baseball writer for a long time. I knew the people he worked for. I knew the people he played with. I knew at least one of his very good high school friends. I knew how he manipulated media. I saw all of it. So I'm hoping for the best, but he has never really, I'm not sure he's ever left a place with people going, we're going to miss you, A-Rod. It's always been, God, we got rid of him. Yes, we got rid of him.
That might have been the best thing that the Red Sox didn't do.
Right.
You know, because I mean, we had that togetherness. We had, Cabrera, we had Johnny Damon, we had all those guys. Veritek, I do miss Nomar, obviously. But yeah, that's my guy. But it was just tough really with the Veritek situation because I'm loyal. So when I see A-Rod and Veritek, I'm like, I'm Veritek all day. So I hold that grudge everywhere I go. So when I see A-Rod at the games all the time, I'm like, Veritek. So it's like I just want to yell it out, but I don't.
The 2 Yankees that I do give Jeter a pass. Okay.
Yeah, he gets passed.
And Joe Girardi, because I knew him was with the Cubs, and he's such a great guy. So I'm like, those are the 2 exceptions when he went to be a manager for the Yankees. I was like, it's okay. Joe Girardi's a good guy. Those are my 2 exceptions.
This is the problem with baseball writing. We end up when you do it the way I did it, the way so many of my peers did it back in the day, we know too much about people. So I can't get on board with Girardi and I can't get on board with A-Rod because I know too much.
Oh, I don't want to hear the Girardi stories then, because all I know is he was a good guy to us in Chicago. So
Jeter gets a pass.
Look at your face.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, he's getting serious over there.
Girardi's getting canceled in here.
Hey, but Jeter does get a pass, and then I also like his taste in women that he had, so he also gets a pass for that.
You mean all of them?
All of them. He had immaculate taste, so he gets a pass from me.
Did you ever get a basket?
What are you asking?
Or know anyone that got a basket?
What are you asking?
A basket?
The basket. Like, no, anyone, not you, but like, you know, we were talking about Jeter, right? When he dated.
You know about the gift basket,
he'd always
right?
give a gift basket.
I didn't know that.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Every time he entertained a young lady and she was leaving in the morning, he had a gift basket.
Really?
Lovely party gift.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I got to say this one.
He's a gentleman.
Okay, this is formally off the record. I think I can say it on the record deal. Jeter actually copied Kirby Puckett in terms of how you deal with media, because Kirby was the biggest star in Minnesota history. And he believed, as the captain, as the franchise player, he should always be the person who talked to the media. Even if he didn't want to, even if he was going to say nothing, he just felt like, I'm going to stand in front of my locker. I'm going to be available. It's part of my job. One of the many things that was lovable about Kirby. Jeter copied that in New York. He was like, I'm going to talk to the media every day, whether I have something to say or not. Just, I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to be the leader. I'm going to also, dynamics of a clubhouse in a locker room. If the star stands up and talks, A, everybody else realizes they have to do that too when it's their time.
Yep.
B, it relieves pressure on everybody else to talk, because if nobody else talks, at least you got Jeter. So anyway, Jeter's with his back to the crowd of New York reporters. And, it's a lot of people in there, a lot of beat writers and TV cameras, everything else. The cameras are off. Jeter's getting dressed. Everybody's just kind of chit-chatting. And a buddy of mine in the New York press corps goes, all right, Derek, what was Mariah Carey really like?
No.
And Jeter pauses a second and he looks over his shoulder and he goes, bleeping amazing.
I love it.
And hence, they loved him, right?
Yep.
You know what?
Give them what they want.
Jeter gets a pass from me.
All right, there you go. That's right. I'm saying, is a Red Sox fan gives Jeter a pass.
Jeter gets a pass.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so let's A-Rod aside. You're with Timberwolves now.
Yeah.
He has, with Mark Glory, done extraordinary things for this team.
They have.
And just to see from whence it came to now, how many years have you been now? Is it your third year with the Timberwolves?
Going into my fourth year.
Going into your fourth. What have you seen as the change that you love the most? Maybe, not specifically players wise, but if that is it, what you like?
I mean, first you got to start with the jerseys, right? The jerseys, I love bringing the tree back, bringing the Prince back. I thought that was really, really nice touch. I wasn't here for the Prince jerseys, but every time I see him, I remember that Derrick Rose 50-point night when I was watching it, like in Boston. I was actually at home watching it, so it's just crazy and it's surreal. Like all of the stuff kind of ties back to Minnesota, Boston, or Oklahoma somehow. Like everything, I don't know, it's weird, but the trees, same thing with KG. Like just growing up, seeing him all the time, he was just always intense. Covering him in Boston was amazing. So I feel like everything just ties back, so it just always ties back. But I thought them actually listening to the fans was really cool, to be able to see that they're like, all right, we know you guys want the trees back. We know you guys want this jersey. Let's do it. And then I think also, they're going to be taking some risks, I think.
Yeah.
Right. And if you want to continue to maintain that stability in the Western Conference, like everybody else is growing around you. So I think with them taking control now, I feel like they're going to take a lot more chances and swings to try to get this roster where it needs to be to get over the hump for the championship. So
right, and you need that.
You definitely need that. And I think sometimes it just takes somebody that has, more of an audience on them and more of a face. Not saying Glenn Taylor wasn't a face or anything, but I feel like with A-Rod, he's like, no, I want the spotlight. I want you guys to see this is what I'm doing.
Turn up the heat.
Yeah, exactly. Let's turn the heat up. And I think that's what they're going to probably end up doing. It might not be this year, might not be trade deadline, but I could see it happening for sure for next year. All
right. For people that maybe this is the first time they're hearing you, they didn't hear our first interview with you. You got your first start in Boston, right?
Yeah.
And so did I, which is miraculous if you think about how things in media are now. When you get your foot in the door, I know we talked about Jeff Twist that used to be with the team. How was that opening the door? Because that's the question I'm asked by so many young people. You know, well, I don't know. There's no formal job opening. I'm like, you got to make an opening, or you get a crack in the door and you stick your foot in it and find your way. You found your way.
I found my way. Yeah, I was annoying. That's just what it was. You know, it was just one of those situations. I ran into somebody. His name is Steven Alford. He was working for the Celtics at the time, and I was just working at Walgreens, just working a regular 9 to 5, and you know, would close occasionally. And he would just come in, and he would just get an Arizona iced tea all the time, and he would always come to my register, and we would talk about basketball for 1 minute, and then he'll just leave, and I'm like, okay, what's going on with this? So then I went to when the Celtics played the Detroit Pistons the year they won the championship. When we went to the Eastern Conference Finals and played against them, had nosebleed seats. And then I looked back down. You know, they let us go down.
Yeah.
And I saw Stephen Alford there. So I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, I work here. And I'm like, well, you never told me. You know, so it was just one of those where he was like, hey, if you want a chance, like, you know, he was like, I'll get in touch with you. You know, and everybody always says, I'll get in touch with you. You know, so I was just like, okay, that's just some runaround crap, yada, yada. And then I went back to University of Connecticut, moved all my stuff back in, and then he called me and was like, hey, you ready? And I'm like, dude, like, I just moved all my stuff on campus. He was like, hey, we got, you know, we're trying to get you in here, see how you do with some games and, you know, have you do some internship with us. And, you know, so I was like, Mom, we gotta go back.
UConn's gotta wait.
I was like, yeah, we gotta go back. You know, so I'm over here like, hey, we gotta go back. And my mom's like, well, I need to see something right. You know, typical mom. I need to see this in writing. And so then
she's no dummy.
She's no dummy. No, she's not. But you know, we took a chance, went back home, and then game by game started growing and started covering. And you know, Jeff was really nice to me. The first day he was mean to me though.
Really?
So I will tell you
Testing
this.
you?
I will tell you the story. I broke the ultimate rule the first day.
Did you ask for an autograph?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
It was close.
Oh.
I asked for it. So I went in there, went in the locker room, and I'm in a suit and tie combination. Like that was one thing. Like when I was in Boston, I had suit and tie every day. Like no matter what. Like every day. But I went in there, I saw Rondo, KG, and Ray Allen. And I took my phone out. I said, hey guys. And I took a selfie with all of them. And they saw, Jeff saw that and it was like, dude, he was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm fanboying right now. Like,
is this not allowed?
Yeah. And he was like, he just grabbed my pass and flipped it over and was like, read the fine print.
Oh,
and so then after that, me and Jeff were best friends.
Yeah.
Because after that, I wanted to be on his good side. You know, anytime, always asked about his family. His son was doing amazing work for the Maine Red Claws.
Yeah.
You know, so I was just one of those where I was like, hey, I just want to do the right thing. So, I mean,
you didn't know what you didn't know, right?
I didn't know what I didn't know, but I did know what I did know. And I know if the moment presented itself, I was going to act stupid. So it came and it went. But honestly, though, that made me grow into the person I am today. And, you know, I feel like, you know, for me, the only reason why I left Boston is because I wanted to challenge myself, you know, and Oklahoma City was like the perfect place to challenge myself. I'm far away from home. I got to defend for myself, you know, and I was like, if this media thing is really what I'm going to do, like if I'm really supposed to do this, I should be able to do this anywhere in the whole country and be able to be fine. So that was kind of the mindset. So when I chose to come from Boston to Oklahoma to Houston, and then Minnesota, I think for me, the Minnesota thing was, okay, now where's the potential? Where's a market that has potential, right? I'm looking at Justin Jefferson. I'm looking at Anthony Edwards. I'm looking at those guys, and I'm like, okay, there's a lot of potential over there. So I'm like, wherever I'm going to go now, when I chose Minnesota, I was like, this is where I'm going to kind of build my foundation. So, and it's building the foundation of life, but also building that foundation of, you know, being able to build a network, you know, build my brand, and continue to take it to that next level. So that was kind of what it was for me. But without, you know, the Jeff Twists of the world, like I wouldn't be sitting here with you.
Let's take care of the business. Then we'll hear what comes next in this story. I'm very interested. Thanks to Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
Hey, Rosie here for Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than my good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they have got you covered with two great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
Thanks also to Minnesota Masonic Charities.
All right. Well, I know that when you get your foot in the door and you're doing everything right, with the suits and all that stuff. What was the moment? Because I understand, and people who aren't from Boston, they don't understand. Sometimes you can't really advance up. You can get your foot in the door. Why I left too. I remember Peter Gammons told me, look around. You're going to be doing what you're doing now for 20 years.
Wow.
Unless you move, unless you move to a different place. He goes, and I'm not saying that we don't love you here, but how much will you grow? And, when someone challenges you like that was Peter Gammons for me. I'm like, wow. Yeah. He's like, you have to be live in the trenches. Cause I was at Nesson and which I loved.
I love Nesson.
You grow up and you're doing all that. He's like, right. But get your foot in the door. So when I started doing I interned in the news side, but on air. Nessa was my first on air. I was behind the scenes. And so I remember doing a live shot out at a game and trying to turn sound and them counting you down in your ear and all that stuff, in the elements where it's like snowstorm, you learn so much, you challenge yourself. When you start challenging yourself, when did you find yourself, right? Rather than, because maybe that part of you wearing a suit was you at the time, but then you kind of grow into who you really are.
Yeah. I mean, even when I was in Boston, I think it came then, right? Because a lot of them are following me, on social media, and they're like, dude, this is not you outside of here. Suit and tie isn't really you. Just be yourself, And I was like, they were like, you're too focused on trying to be like us. It was like, if you find yourself and find your identity, then you're going to get the best version of yourself every single time. So I think it was for me, I went up to Jeff actually, and I had a conversation with him, and I was just like, hey, I love wearing the suit and tie combination stuff. Just wanted to know if I could be a little bit more casual if I can. And he was like, well, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I just want to wear some polos or something like that with some, maybe some khakis, but also, factor in wearing my sneakers and stuff if it's possible. And he was like, I don't have no problem with that. He was like, just be yourself, continue to be professional just like you are. And he was like, everything will be fine. So I remember I had that conversation, and after Jeff told me that, I felt like I could do whatever at that point, because I'm like, he already told me, he gave me his blessing, so I'm like, I'm good.
That's right.
But
I kissed the ring.
Yeah. I found myself completely when I was in Oklahoma City. I felt like 2015, 2016, I was just like, okay, I belong now. Sometimes you're in an industry and you're like, okay, am I just here, or do I fit in? But at that time, I felt like I had a lot of viral clips going. Anything that went from Westbrook or Kevin Durant, 9 times out of 10, I probably put it out at that time. And a lot of people are reaching out to me now, and they're like, hey, what are you doing over there? And I'm like, oh, I'm just working. I'm just getting all this content. I'm doing what I can. At that time, though, nobody had cameras in the locker room, So I don't want to say I'm a pioneer or nothing, because I don't think anybody's a pioneer at certain stuff like that, because so many people remake what you already do and then put their own spin on it. But I do feel like at that time, people did look at me funny, oh, he got his camera out, he got his phone, and it was just for me, it was just okay, but this is getting out quicker than the news. So if I can get it out quicker than the news stations, and if I can get it directly to the consumer, which is my fans and my following, then I'm going to beat you guys every single day, and then it wasn't until social media started really kicking in, and then people okay, we got to get everything out quicker. And I've always been that type of person that built my reputation on just getting something out quick and fast. If you can get it out the fastest, it's going to reach everybody as quickly as possible. And that's when you get Bleacher Report and, different places and everything. They'll reach out to you at that point. And I've built that reputation where people are all right, Travis is going to have something viral that's going. And now they reach out. Even today, we got the Christmas stuff going. Ever since I've been here in Minnesota, I've done the Christmas shopping spree at Target.
Yep.
Every year, something has gone viral, whether Cat said something or Aunt said something or, but they hit that, people message me. They're like, hey, are you going to be there today? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be there. So it's moments like that, they know what to expect. And I just try to be able to bring basically the other side. Somebody, I forgot who told me it. I think it was Mark Spears from ESPN. He said, there's always another story in the locker room. He said, everybody goes to the person that scored 40 points. But what about the guy that was passing the ball all night, or what about the person that was rebounding for him? So when I bring different stories to light, I always try to think of it like that. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, okay, everybody's going to run the Ant, but why can't I go to Mike Conley and talk to Mike Conley about, Ant's night as well and try to wrap something around that too? Because sometimes I feel like you get held back with how much content you can get, by doing interviews and stuff like that. So you got to kind of, wrap around it and make your own way.
So before there was social media, how did you, once you were not with the Celtics, how did you get your stuff out? What platform did you have to form your own company? That's kind of dangerous and scary territory back then.
That is, yeah. That was scary. With the whole starting the Sneaker Reporter brand was kind of, that it's still scary because at the end of the day, it's tough to really trust a lot of people with your baby, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had people that, that I'm proud to say they've worked for me and worked for the brand and they're working for Fox Sports now. Even last night, I mean, one of them, he's working for Sports Illustrated now and he was at the game because he covers Dallas. So it's just seeing those people grow from, me being able to even shed some light on them. I always try to give people opportunity. So it's what you do with that opportunity. Are you going to kick the door down or are you going to just open the door and peek and then close it back? So whenever I give people opportunity, it's more so what they do with it. But when I started it, I was petrified because I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And and I started it 2014 going into 2015. And the Thunder were like, hey, we support you. So whatever you're trying to do, we got your back. So if you're going to build this brand up, let's talk about how you're going to build it up and, what your content is going to be. Excuse me. And then they were like, we can take it from there and, we can get you a pass. I was like, okay, cool. So when I got the pass, then that was like, okay, now I got that going, but now I got to bring the right people in, So I wanted to always bring people in that were sports writers, but also had a love and a passion for sneakers at the same time. But then it grew to, okay, well, if this person's really, really good at writing and they really, really love, the NBA or the NFL or Major League Baseball, but they don't like sneakers, for the business, we gotta make some money. So at the end of the day, I was bringing in people and those people, helped get me to where I am today too. So, I mean, a lot of them. So I don't ever burn any bridge. That's one thing about me. I always try to make sure, the bridge is good. And, but I was more scared because, I didn't want to have somebody that I brought into the locker room with me or had them go to a different game. And, all of a sudden they're in there taking pictures and asking for autographs, doing the stuff they're not supposed to. And I already know sometimes I'm at a disadvantage because, it's like, oh, sneaker reporter. So it's like people think we're automatically talking about sneakers all the time. And it's like, I'm not even talking about sneakers. I can care less about talking about sneakers. We could do it, but I'm in here to do a job.
Right.
And I think some people get lost in that. And, so I did have an instance where somebody that worked for me pulled up to Chicago Bulls Arena, United Center and was like, yeah, Travis Singleton brought me, sneaker reporter. And then they the PR team had to call me. They're like, what's going on over here? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even talk to them about the game, so stuff like that.
Know who this person is.
Yeah, stuff like that had me scared where I'm like, I don't know. But I will say those moments, got me to where I am today with the brand because I've been able to take chances and risks and be able to help a lot more people move forward.
Right. Because now, I mean, Sneaker Reporter, it's like more of your brand of who you are, right? You're a reporter. It's almost like I'm a reporter who wears sneakers, and maybe we can work. And I know it's your cool kicks. I think one of your social media, you were just saying who your favorite, who is the best, and they were kind of greenish. Who had those sneakers? Yellowish, greenish.
Green.
Gosh,
I bet he has almost as many Nikes.
He was
as
saying
my
what
wife.
player. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, my collection is crazy right now. I mean, I got some in Boston, and I got half in Boston and half here.
Okay, how many pair?
Oh, jeez.
We're looking at, Jim, we're past 300.
Wow. Okay, that's a little more than my wife.
Yeah, we are past 300 at this point. I mean, you got to factor in, over the years, I've built relationships with the sneaker companies, so Adidas, Nike, Puma, Reebok.
They just send you
they just send me stuff now. So so I haven't, if I really, really want to shoe and I really, really can't get it, then I'll buy it. But other than that, majority of the time I don't spend money. That's the good thing about the Sneaker Reporter, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I don't spend money on the shoes that I like all the time.
Cool. I need to start a site, guitarreporter.com.
Oh my gosh.
Let's do it.
See? That'd be brilliant.
I want 300 guitars.
Let's do it. I'll
be Louis Vuitton reporter.
Oh man, see that's
who
a little
likes sports.
See, that's different. That's corporate. That's
right.
That's a little different.
I got to go a little bit lower on that.
Yeah, that's a little different. Yeah.
So when you come to Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Because you are unique and covering the players, you soon find out, just like you did with Jeff Twist, that there's also a line between being comfortable with the players and then being their friend, right? Because
Exactly.
you can't be their friend because you still have to be able to say something if something happens.
Yep.
How has that gone for you?
It's gone good. It's gone good. You know, one thing about me, like we said earlier, we're going to be real, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes being real's got me in trouble, right? I mean, you know, I remember, I think it was Westbrook, you know, love him to death. I will love him until I die. Like, that's just, I went to Oklahoma City. Kevin Durant was my guy. And I left Oklahoma City. Russell Westbrook was my guy. You know, I love both of them. They both helped me get to where I am today from the, you know, the interviews and different things that they've given me over the years with information. But with Westbrook, I remember one time I was just like, he had like a bad night. Like, I think it was like 2 for like 14 or something. And, you know, I can't say oh man, he's doing a great job. You know, and I wrote about it. And then I remember he was like, yo, man, I thought we were friends. I thought we was cool. And I'm like, yeah, but I still got a job to do. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I was like, that's kind of how you got to juggle it, where it's like, I can't say you're doing an amazing job and you shot 2 for 14.
Right.
You know, but I try to, my thing is I try my best to show them that I'm there to support on and off the court. Right. So if they got charities, different things like that, right. I try to show up for those. You know, those big events. And, you know, as long as they know that I'm coming from a genuine space,
right?
You know, a lot of the players that I've interviewed and talked to and even written about, I mean, you know, that's the biggest thing for me. When they know you coming from a genuine space, I think there's a respect factor and they make time for you, right? I mean, even when a lot of the players that come, like now I can go to a away locker room and they'll talk to me for as long as I want to. But when I was covering them, it was different. You know, so it's always easier to get them after on a different team. But yeah, it's a juggle. It's a juggle for sure. But you know, it's all about respect. They respect you. They respect the job you got to do. So, you know, that's just what it comes down to.
Yeah, because I'm going to say they're athletes for a reason in terms of they know when they don't have a good night.
Yeah.
Right. And I had this discussion with someone the other day, and I said, you can ask the tough questions, but I don't believe in the gotcha journalism. You know, this is even before social media. You know, some people just want that comment or that little snippet, or, you know, they don't realize that they might have been asked something like 12 times and they're a little annoyed. And all you see is that 10-second clip of them being annoyed. But so you earn the respect that you have to ask that question or you have to tell the truth if they haven't had a good night. Like recently, we have to talk about J.J. McCarthy in football being inaccurate, right?
Yeah.
You have to talk about some of the off nights if the Timberwolves have an off night. Like you can't, or else you're losing the respect of your other followers. And then the players will be like, what's this? So you actually, they may not like it. You know, Westbrook may not have liked it, but you got to respect it, right? Yeah,
I think he respected it. You know, it's just, for me, like I said, I'll love him till I'm gone because, you know, I remember he took like an hour and a half to sit with my mom after a game. Just talk to her the whole time. Like my mom, she still brags about it to this day. And, you know, I'll respect him for that. And I'll always love him for that. You know, met his whole family, all the above. But then it's like at the same time, I got to also do what I have to do, you know? And sometimes it's tough because for me, what I will say is I don't ask the tough question, but I will ask the follow-up question.
Okay.
If I respect the player enough, I will ask the follow-up question. I'm not going to ask the really tough, hard question because I'm like, I don't want that much heat from them, but I will ask the follow-up, you know?
So if I said to someone, all right, let's say if it's Ant, right? I'm like, Ant, you know, you played 23 minutes. You're 0 for 25 from the field. What's going on?
Yep.
And he'd be like, "Oh man," or "I don't care," or "What do you think's going on?" You never know how they're going to answer.
You never know.
I love Ant because he'll just keep it real. He'll about keeping it real.
He'll keep it real.
He might be like, "I sucked." Something like that. What would be your follow up on that?
So if it depends on the reply, but if he said, whatever, I'd be like, well, it had to be something because at the end of the day, like, the defense was playing you a certain way. Obviously they were double teaming you. I would follow it up trying to go about the game, and how you could have got out of those opportunities where you struggled.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to ask the right, I'm not going to ask the Don question, but I'm going to ask the Travis question and follow up. And then I'm going to also preface it where there's a way out for some positivity. So it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't get him today, but I might get him back tomorrow. Like, I'll be better tomorrow. So that's kind of how I preface.
But I love it when people follow up those. Right. Yeah. Because it actually gives like a little more depth to some of that. Sometimes the hardest thing is like you open something up and no one follows up. So then you got to follow up on your own follow up.
That's the part that's tough, because in OKC, there was a lot of that because Russ was snapping back at all the reporters. Yeah. That's when he was going at Barry Trammell and all those guys, So at that point, I was the one that was usually starting stuff because they were like, well, Russ is nice with Travis. So, hey, Travis, go ahead and start it off. And, so that's kind of how that went. But I haven't had any issues with Ant. Like, like you said, he's as real as they come. Man, I think one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was coming here because I just think this is a city that's growing. I just look at the Vikings, obviously, minus JJ McCarthy right now. But I see what the teams are trying to do, and they're trying to go in the right direction. This city is yearning for some winning, and I feel like they can get there if they have the right pieces in place. It's just more so, okay, are you going to spend the money to get over that hump? I feel like Minnesota doesn't spend the money yet that they need to spend to get where they need to be. Like the Dodgers will do anything to get a championship. I feel like Minnesota in general hasn't shown that they're ready to do that type of business. You feel that way, Jim, or is it just me?
To me, it's really, baseball. I put baseball and college sports in a different category.
Okay.
Because baseball and college sports, there's no salary cap, there's no salary floor. So you can spend or not spend what you want.
Yeah.
The Dodgers have billion-dollar TV deals with Japanese companies and with the huge LA market. They make probably 10 times in media revenues what the Twins make. So the Twins are not going to spend what the Dodgers are going to spend. Ain't ever going to happen.
Yeah.
Even if revenue sharing gets in their favor.
Well, if baseball instituted true revenue sharing
exactly
with a salary cap and a salary floor, then everybody would have to spend about the amount, and there would be no excuse for not spending that amount.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, but that's the way it should be. College is the same thing. University of Minnesota is not going to be better at football on a year-by-year basis than Ohio State and Michigan. Just not going to. Every once in a while, maybe once every 10 years, once every 20 years, it might happen. It's not going to happen on a regular basis. Those places have more money. NBA, the Wolves spend a lot of money.
They do.
They spend a lot of money, and there's a salary cap on the salary floor, so they have to be in that same window. I think the difference between them and a more major market is you might not get the Hall of Fame superstar wanting to come to Minnesota either to promote themselves or to finish out their career for a lot of money. That's where it's different.
Yeah.
And what do you think, like Vikings wise too? What do you think about that?
The NFL's balanced. Reggie White and Brett Favre played and Aaron Rodgers played in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning played in Indianapolis.
Right.
I don't think it's a factor at all in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Vikings get
good free
agents.
Paid. Right.
I don't think it has anything to do with there. I think NBA, you're not going to get the glamour, the players seeking glamour here. Hockey, they spend plenty of money. They just don't have a good farm system. They haven't developed enough players, I think, but in baseball and college, it's just not a fair playing field.
Well, we've also talked about, whenever I talk to fans, they're like, you don't understand, Don. You're originally from New England.
Yeah.
You guys win everything. And I said, well, they didn't win until I left. Right. So when I grew up, the only team.
You sound hurt.
I know. Remember who was it?
She sounds hurt. My childhood was amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No kidding. I was a couple of years too old.
Although I have to say, when I was younger, and I used to go to Fenway Park all the time and write Red Sox stories all the time, there was a certain charm to the heartbroken New Englander. And then they started winning and everything, and they became much harder to take.
Yeah, it's always charming when you're losers.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jim. Yeah. Well, my childhood did have the Celtics. Larry Bird, like we won, right? All right. So that was and I liken it to, that's my version of people here with the Twins. Okay. You know, it's like, I said, hey, you guys won 2 World Series. Like, yeah, we haven't won anything since. I go, well, that's how I was growing up. Like, it was the Celtics, and nobody else won anything until I left town. And then Torrey Hunter's like, when you leaving? When he was here.
That's crazy.
When you leaving Minnesota. Yeah. So I just kind of feel like that Minnesota needs to name a curse, and I've said this many times, officially name a curse and then kill it. Yeah. That's all I have to do.
I got you. I mean, for me, growing up, at me? Yeah, what would you name it? Yeah, go ahead, name one.
Well, I don't know. What would you name it, Jim?
I don't know. I've done columns like this before. I thought about it before. I don't have anything in front of mind that would be good, because I kind of get really tired of Minnesotans whining about it, so I don't want to encourage it.
Yeah, well.
I got you. I mean, growing up, for me, the Celtics
and also,
were the
sorry,
team.
Also, the Lynx have won 4 titles and should have won a 5th, and the Frost won 2. So let's clarify. This is about men's major.
This is about that's what I tell all my friends. I go, hey, I am not a jinx for the women. I'll just tell you that now.
Yeah, the Lynx are winning. Yeah, right. The Lynx are winning, man.
But
I was gonna say, growing up, the Celtics were the team that I never saw win.
Oh, okay.
So when the Celtics won in 07, 08, I was boohooing like a kid. Like
I was already here.
I was crying, and I was so happy, because I saw the Red Sox and Bruins win, and I'm like, well, I need to see the Celtics win. So
we've had the flip-flop because I moved here in 04. And when I first got here from Chicago, and I had my golden retriever, thank God I had my TV, because none of my furniture made it here, right? So I had some clothes, my golden retriever, and a TV. I went to the Target right by Fox 9 and bought a blow-up bed. That's how oh, sorry, your furniture is not going to come for another month. And I was like,
another month?
Ooh. So I remember I had the TV. Thank God I had the cable at the time, and we had a blow-up bed, and I bought a pizza, and I watched that Red Sox run and break the curse.
That's how I live today.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Yeah, right, Jim.
Yeah, right. Your wife would never go for that. So Minnesota for me is when, although I do say the Halloween before, one of my favorite costumes ever when I lived in Chicago, I went as the Curse of the Bambino. I had a red cape.
You are crazy.
And I had Baby Ruth, like kind of pinned all over it. And I had my friends write any curse word they could come up with.
Oh my goodness.
And I had Dan Shaughnessy's book, and I wore my Red Sox hat, and people were like, who are you? I'm like, I'm the Curse of the Bambino. And then next year, boom.
Oh, so okay.
So I'm taking some credit.
I'll give you the credit.
Yeah,
then.
but you're the opposite. You move here and you're boohooing. I move here and I'm like, yes, we won something.
Yep.
I would say the coolest thing I ever covered was that 2004 ALCS. Red Sox are down 3-0,
man,
in Fenway, and then I watched them come back in Fenway. Then I go to Yankee Stadium and watch them finish it off. And
that was awesome.
And back then, that was old Yankee Stadium, and we're sitting. I wasn't a beat writer or anything, so I'm in right field, sitting behind all these Yankees fans, just going completely silent.
Wow.
And Yankee fans are never silent.
No.
I would pay any amount of money to be there for that.
That was something.
Man, that's amazing. Yeah, and here I am. I was just running down the street with my boxers on because we were just excited. We were going back to the World Series, man. We were hyped. I remember that. We was running through Roxbury just with boxers and briefs on. Everybody was. Yeah, just beeping horns and honking horns and everything. It was pretty cool.
Jim, you mentioned there was some sweetness to the sadness of Red Sox fans. So you're probably younger. I don't know. Remember WBCN? I don't even know if it still exists anymore. It was a radio station. And they used to, every year that the Red Sox were officially out of the playoffs, they would have a wake, an Irish wake, and they would have a hearse go around Fenway Park.
I've never heard
and
of
just
that.
kind of go around, and they play like funeral music out of it. And then WBCN broadcasted the official death.
I think I did see that. I did see that. Okay, I did see that.
I go, there's a quaintness to it, but there's also an edge, just like there should be. Keeping it real.
Yeah, no, you're keeping it real. I mean, we went through a lot of heartache, for sure, But then, that's why I call us, the city of champions now. I mean, I don't think anybody else. Is there another city of champions that you can think of, Jim?
I mean, Boston's had the best of it.
Okay.
Lately.
All right. Then we're good. We're still good.
Yeah.
If Jim says it, we're good.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, hey, the research, there's a meme going out. You know, the meme of Tom Brady when he looks back at Gronk, you know, he's got that like that smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, this is it when people are like, oh God, the Patriots are back. He goes, this is me. Every time someone's mad about it.
Man.
Yeah.
Look,
so,
man.
you know, you go through rises and falls. So do you think when you see how they're constructing, let's say, I mean, I know you cover the Lynx as well, and you've seen how Cheryl Reeve has handled, it doesn't matter the players, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's a shark in the draft. She can mold. She knows what types of people. Have you seen any of that in its own way, kind of a championship mentality start to form Timberwolves style?
I think so.
It's hard to like.
I mean, it's
apples and
obviously,
oranges.
Cheryl's different.
Yes.
You know, Cheryl's cutthroat and she knows exactly what she wants and she goes for it. I mean, getting Dejanay was like, I don't even know how she pulled that off.
Yeah.
That was a great move.
Yeah,
I mean,
hey. So, I mean, you know, so some of the stuff that she pulls off, I'm like, okay. But I think bringing Tim in was really good because he has that championship pedigree. So I think being able to have him, he's aggressive. You know, he knows exactly what Chris Finch needs. And I think that they can bring it together with that nucleus. So you can see they tried with Rob. I mean, you know, they really went out on a limb for Rob. You know, so it's more so, okay, let's figure out how to get the best out of him now.
Right.
And make sure that we're doing everything that we can to put a championship team around Ant, you know, and I think they're doing that. And I think, just like I said earlier with A-Rod, I think, you know, they want to make a splash. You know, you're a new owner, new ownership. You want to come in, make a splash. I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year in the off season or anything like that, but I think them trying to be able to, you know, bring in another star to play alongside Ant, Rudy, Julius, whoever the 3 or 4 is going to be, but being able to add another piece to that puzzle, I think will get them over the hump. I truly do.
What I see out of Julius every year is he gets obviously more settled with this team and knowing his role, knowing his leadership. But even this year, just in the few games that they've had, I really like what I see.
Me too. I honestly, like I always say, when we get triple-double Randall, we're good. That's when he's like the best version of himself. I mean, you know, when he played like that on the Knicks as well. But when he's passing and rebounding at that higher level, like at that elite level, I think that's what really brings out the best in him, because then he's focusing on his teammates and then the offense will flow to him easily to the point he can get to the free throw line. He can do certain things at that point, and it creates his offense. You know, he plays bully ball, so I love that too.
Well, they need a little bit more of that, don't you think?
They do. I mean, you know, I think whatever they do during the regular season, to me personally, it's just, you know, I feel like it's all about the playoffs. You know, and
you got to get there though, right?
You got to get there for sure. But my thing is, I think with the continuity that they have and bringing back the same team, I think that will get them. They're not. I don't see them being a play-in team. So I feel like they'll make a playoff run. It's just all about, okay, what are we going to do to execute in the playoffs when everybody's keyed in on certain schemes and different defenses and offensive schemes that are going on. Whether it's pick and roll with Rudy, they got to continue to work on that, you know, and then defensive end, I think that's where they really have to buy in. Right now, it's just, okay, Jaden, we need you to be everywhere, you know, and I think he's gonna be in the running, I think, for Defensive Player of the Year as well this year. He's been playing a hell of a season so far, like defensively and offensively, both ends of the floor, you know, so I think it's just, what are they going to do if they keep this team the way it is? It's what are we going to do in the postseason that was different from last year? And if you're looking at it right now, the difference is Jaden McDaniels. Offensively, he's unlocked some. I don't know what happened this offseason, the work he's putting in, but he got a jumper now that's very consistent. He's attacking the rim, you know, and he's opening up the floor, and defensively, he's opening it up for his teammates as well.
Well, and you also need, but they always say this in any sport, big players need to show up in big games. They also need Ant to be consistent in the postseason and to kind of put the team on his shoulders. If he's going to be that legit, like Michael Jordan kind of player, that's when you have to do that, right?
I agree.
Has he matured enough to do that in your eyes?
I think so. It's just all about, you know, being able to put it together now. The other night he said it, you know, he was like, you know, I don't consider myself a superstar, but he was like, at the end of the day, it's like, you are a superstar. But at the same time, it's all about having superstar moments, right? We always talk about Michael Jordan, flu game, he did this, different games like associated with double nickel, So it's like, Ant, you got to continue to have those superstar moments where you can be able to create your legacy and be able to get over those hurdles that Michael Jordan did. He had to get past the Pistons. So it's like, okay, for Ant, he had to get past the Nuggets. He finally got past the Nuggets, but now we got OKC and these other guys. They're saying Luka's better. They're saying Shea's better. They're saying Wemby's better than him. So it's like, you got to look at these games as challenges. And okay, well, you think you're better than me? Let's lace them up and let's see who's better tonight. And I think once he gets to that point, I think, he can go as far as he wants to.
Well, this is a great question I'm going to ask of both you and Jim, right? Because it's different generational perspectives here. Mm-hmm. There's some people would be like, well, Jordan was a whole different generation. And they had that kind of like, I don't want to say Gen X edge, kind of that, And then some people are saying some of this new NBA players, they had their flash and their this and that, but they don't have that grit. Mm-hmm. Jim, who do you think and we're glomming them all together, do you think the new younger players have that kind of grit that they can rise to the level and that tenacity of like an MJ, or if there's one player that you think does, and then I'll ask you.
I really do think there are different generations. I think part of it is, the modern NBA player knows that if you play well, not even necessarily at the level of a superstar, if you play well and stay healthy, you're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. You're going to make hundreds of millions of dollars if you're just a good player and you don't do anything stupid.
So does that take away, do you think?
I think they're more secure. Mm. I don't think they worry about money as much. They don't worry about those things. Michael Jordan was the first athlete, other than maybe Muhammad Ali, to become an international superstar who could name his price on any endorsement. Mm-hmm. He was the first one, and let's face it, Jordan, I don't know if this is exactly the right psychological term, and I apologize if it's not, but you'll get the point. We know Michael Jordan was a psychopath. He was crazy. We saw it in The Last Dance. Any little slight from the 12th man on the other,
he's going to take it to his grave.
He would go kill people for that stuff, and Bird was a little bit like that, and I just think the modern player is probably happier and more well balanced than Jordan.
Healthier,
was.
maybe.
Yes. Right? and I do think the athletes who really rise to that, to the Mount Rushmores
are psychopaths.
They're psychopaths. And I think the modern NBA athlete is more like, I'm making a lot of money. I'm having a good time. I'm doing exactly what I do. Yeah, of course I want to win. I'm going to put everything I can into winning. But if I lose, I'll just go home to my mansion. I'll be okay.
What do you think?
The one player that sticks out to me the most, and I legit, if it wasn't Minnesota, I was going here. It's Giannis.
Yeah.
He's the one player that reminds me of that back in the day.
Yeah.
LeBron and them are like, hey, let's work out together. I don't want to work out with you. I don't want you to see what I'm doing. I don't need to see what you're doing. You might be trying to figure out what I'm doing this offseason to get better. Mm-hmm. We're not doing that. We're not friends. We're not kicking it. And I think that aspect of it is what pulls me to Giannis.
So psychopath, in a good way,
pretty much in a good way.
Yeah.
But he just wants to be the best every night, every single night. And I think he's one of those players that can really bring the old school back to the new school. And if players felt like he did every night, I feel like the game would be even more better. Right? Because like you said, there's players that just sign up, hey man, look, I'm getting paid regardless. Mm-hmm. I'm good. My family's good. I'm good. Hey, we lost by 50, but I'm in a mansion tonight. So, but Giannis, if he loses by 50, he's pissed.
Yes.
He is extremely pissed. And, that drew me to him. I felt like he had a little bit of that Mamba mentality like Kobe did, and there's certain players around here that really take it personal, when they lose. And Giannis was one of those guys, like, felt like he's cut from that same cloth where I was like, yeah, like if Minnesota doesn't work out, I don't mind going to Milwaukee. If I'm going to be cold, I'm going to be cold somewhere. It's going to happen.
It's warmer in Milwaukee, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer. I live
slightly,
there, too.
Yeah. Little lake effect, a little bit farther south.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit.
Okay. Because I was definitely going to, I said, Giannis, man, I saw something in him, and I'm like, you know what? He has that it factor. Like, he does not give up. He's going to keep coming. Every year, he's going to get better. He's going to just keep coming back at you. He's not going to go away.
And you know what? he wasn't an AAU kid, and he got to the United States, and he was a skinny guy who had to start from scratch.
He had to get everything.
He was bone thin, and nobody knew who he was.
Well, I like he even has that edge, not in a bad way, but with the media, like that one person. I think they said something about you had a bad year or something like that. He doesn't have a bad game. Like, do you say that you had a bad, like your bad year? Did
you have a bad day at work? I remember. I love that. Yeah, he did come back at him. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I wake up and I feel the same as Giannis. It's like, look, at the end of the day, somebody didn't wake up this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I did. So at the end of the day, like we got to continue to just do the best that we can. And if we do that, then we're gonna get wherever we want to go. We're gonna get to that path, that goal, that championship, whatever the golden prize, whatever your goals are, whatever you're trying to strive for, we're gonna get to it. But I'm gonna do it at my pace.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of it. So I love Giannis. Anytime I remember one time. He got mad at me. Me and him went back and forth one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, spill the tea.
No, I did. I pulled a Don. I asked the hard question, and I shouldn't have done it. It was just one game. I forget. Yeah, they were playing the Thunder, and and I remember I was just like, hey, Westbrook. I think Westbrook had this is triple double Westbrook, so I think he had like a 40-point triple double against him, and I'm like, hey, Giannis, what could you have done differently? When it came to Westbrook, obviously he was rebounding, he's assisting. He was like, don't ask me that question. I wasn't guarding him. And then I doubled down on it, and I was just like, well, it is a team sport, so I'm assuming you guys play team defense. And then it was just a whole nother, so we're good now. His team sent me some sneakers, and
and I bet you earned a little bit of respect.
I did. But he was mad. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah.
So you'll be cool when Conley trades for Giannis.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Bring him in.
Next Tuesday.
Who are we giving up?
I actually don't think it's going to happen. I think that Conley will look into it like he looks into everything, like he looked into Durant. It's not a match. It's not a match.
It'd be better if he didn't have to move to Milwaukee too. So just bring him on here.
I mean, a player like that, you have to make it match.
Well, you have to, the thing, they have so few future draft choices that Milwaukee would want that they'd have to trade half the roster, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah. I mean, but him and Ant.
It'd be great.
Oh,
you
my
can start
goodness.
from there and just pick up some people. What did the Heat do when they got the big three?
You two could play.
I mean, at that point, hey, we're playing as well because they got that big three, and then they started picking up people I didn't even know were still playing. Eddie House, James Posey. I was like, oh, everybody's just coming up here.
You're like, was he sitting on the beach? You're like, he's still playing?
Hey, man.
You talk about the players nowadays that kind of need a little bit of incentive, right? You need that hunger. The NBA Cup. You flash some dollars in front of these guys, right? What did they get? $500,000 each, right? If you win, is it enough to keep the energy and the sustain for the players? Because most of them are already making that anyway.
That's the tough part. I mean, it's obviously for the G Leaguers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even when they go to the Cup, like the G League guys are on the roster. That's when the Mac McClungs are back on the team, and that's what they do. They just it's glorified where they call you up. So then now you're a part of the team that gets that. So I think that's more so for the G Leaguers, But
will it get old with the guys that don't need it?
I think it will. I mean, just like throw that in the All-Star in the same pot and just start cooking. That's just what it is. I mean, I feel like the All-Star game is, it's one of those where it's going to take somebody that's competitive like a Giannis or somebody that's going to be like, all right, well, we're hard fouling out here. We're really going to play this year. Nobody goes into it setting the tone. And I think when it comes to the Cup or even when it comes to like All-Star Weekend stuff, I mean, you got to go into it. They're looking at it like, hey, we're busting our behind all year long. So this weekend is supposed to be for us to relax. Yeah. And that's the player perspective from people that have talked and spoke on it. But for me, I grew up watching, MJ and Glenn Rice and those guys going back and forth in the All-Star games and, just being able to watch all the old players that came in and really were like they were playing.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the Cup, I feel like with the Cup, it's going to take somebody that's like, hey, I'm taking this serious. And it's hard to do that when you already are making the money, like Jim said.
Yeah.
When you make so much money, it's really hard. Like, okay, what's this $500,000 going to do? I'm making $150 million already.
Right.
So
and they are playing now year round. Basically, a sport is year round, and the guys need a break. So.
Yeah, and I think they take that in the All-Star Weekend as a break. I think All-Star Weekend, and I went to school for marketing, so I feel like All-Star Weekend should be for those players that are trying to make a name for themselves, right? So if you got a John Morant, Anthony Edwards, these guys, they're not going to get in the dunk contest. They're just not going to do it. I would love for it to happen. I'll take some of my money and make it happen, but it's not going to happen. So you got to go get the Shaden Sharps from Portland. You got to go get, Mac McClung and these other guys that are really good at dunking, but they also need the opportunity to have the spotlight on them. And that's what it's going to be. I think the days of getting like the actual All-Stars to believe in the cup or believe in the All-Star stuff I think it's kind of dead.
I know. Well, it's almost like you look at any sport, right? They moved. It used to be for the NFL. Yeah, we'll send them to Hawaii, and that'll be like their, what can you do to really honor these players? And also marketing wise, like if people are going to spend tons of money to fly in and see them and spend all this money, you got to put on a show. Yeah. So I think there's a tipping point. And for me, I have not come up with a brilliant idea, or I'd probably be a millionaire if I said, hey, NBA, this is really what you need to do.
I know what they need to do. I do. But am I being paid to say it? No. But I know what they need to do. It's just, it's going to take the players to want to do it, and it's basically like a king of the court. Take what Nafisha and them did at Unrivaled. Have your best players one-on-one.
Just split the pot.
Put 20 million in there and say, all right, who's the best? And then let them play it out. Any fan would pay to see that.
And the players, that's when the competition comes out.
There you go. Right. So I think that's what they really need to get to. Have that added. Have the dunk contest still be there, but not have it be the last thing. Have the king of the court be the last thing. Be able to have the 3-point contest still, those type of things, but finish with something that's competitive and something that is going to be honorable to the point that it's going to be prideful, right?
Right.
So if Kyrie Irving, beats Zion Williamson in one-on-one, he's gonna feel some type of way. He's gonna be pissed off, right? Because now he's like, oh, they think Kyrie's better than me, So it gives him something where he's like, okay, I'm gonna show you, and it keeps people coming back for that.
Well, you heard it here. You're not getting paid for that idea yet.
Yeah,
can we trademark a verbal idea?
Let's make it happen, Jim.
So before we let you go, if you were talking to a young person wants to get out of school, they come to you all the time. They come to me all the time, to Jim, and they'd just be like, I want to get my foot in the door, but I want to be myself. What do you say to young, and I say journalists, but sometimes they just want to do their own thing, and they're still, given the information. They don't like the term journalist. I don't know if I want to be a journalist, but I want to cover sports. So however you want to kind of place that, what do you say?
I just tell them just to be consistent, right? Consistency is key. And I've realized that, like, I had to take a little break from like social media, like during the off season. And then I realized, like, when I came back this season, I'd post something that would probably get like 2,000 likes, but now it's getting like 100. And I'm like, okay, all right, I get it, So I definitely
like, where's he been?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But hey, a brother need a break, man.
Right.
Hey, man, I be working.
You gotta time those posts.
Man, look, man, I gotta figure it out. But between links and just all that, that's the crazy thing. Since I've been here, I haven't taken one break. I have not taken one off season off yet.
We need a king of the court for you and other reporters.
Let's do it. Sign me up. Let's do it.
Get that juice going.
Let's do it. But I just realized that. And this off season, I was like, you know what? Like, I'm realizing I'm starting to get burnt out. I wasn't completely there, but I was also realizing, and I'm like, all right, like, because I'm constantly on my phone, constantly posting, constantly doing interviews, constantly writing, constantly. And I realized that my mom was like, since you've been in Minnesota, like, you have not stopped. It's been Timberwolves links. So this off season, I'm going to try to take a step back with the links just to be able to really woo-saw. Like, if Cheryl's listening, I know she's a listener, but I love you, Cheryl. It's just, I got to take a couple more games off for myself and be able to just like really try to I haven't even had like a week vacation since I've been in Minnesota.
You should take a vacation.
So that's kind of where I'm at, But I tell people to be consistent. Anybody that comes up to me, make sure you're consistent, make sure you're passionate, make sure that whatever you're doing, whatever you're putting your heart into, that you're doing it for the right reasons, right? Because a lot of people will go into it, oh, I want the clicks. It's like, it's not about the clicks.
Right.
Right? So it's more so about being able to build yourself up, build your brand, find out how authentic you can be to yourself, and continue to move forward with whatever your goal is. You know, so my goal was always to, and it's still a goal of mine, I want to be able to have a sneaker reporter that is in every single state that covers every single team. You know, that's still on my radar. Like I got people that are in different states that cover basketball teams, but it's like, all right, the next step is, how do I break into the NFL?
Right.
You know, how do I break into doing the Twins? You know, so I want to continue to challenge myself. But if you don't have anything on the bulletin board to challenge yourself with, then you're going to get stagnant.
And also, you bring up, you also have to stay so you don't get burnt out.
Yeah.
I think everybody in their own career hits that point, right? Yep. Like Jim, what did you have to do? Is that where you went to music a little bit, or a vacation, or what? Because I think we all have these little things that we know, I used to do that, and that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had 1 year where I was on the road 180 days out of 365, and I worked probably 350 days out of 360 days, 100 days out of 365. And
because we don't get an off season. I don't.
You just can't do that long term. I think you can do it a little bit here and there. You can do it to prove yourself, but you can't be your life. And listen, I can't complain. It started being whatever flaws we have in the newspaper industry. It started being, I've been there a long time. I get lots of vacation, and where once I might not have used it, now I use it.
Exactly. That's same here. Like I if I can count how many vacation days before, like if they didn't, because before they didn't roll over, it was, you know, you use them or lose them. And well, sometimes you can't even take them. But there's other little things, like for me, like I love watches. Yeah. I wanted to get, when I was young in the business, I want to get a Rolex. Well, this is before you have phones and stuff and TV. You're always looking at what time it is.
That's true.
Right. Like the clock for a long time was my enemy, because I had to be on, you have to be on air in an hour. You know, you've got, I got to break down my show. I got to do, this is 20 seconds. That's 15 seconds. My SOT is blah, blah seconds. I'm on air in how many seconds? They count you down in your head. Everything is numbers and timing. Yeah. And for a while there, I was always looking at my watch, and I was like, oh my gosh, that so much. So I took the watch off.
Okay.
But then it's your phone, so you're looking at time, right? Looking. So then you learn, like, okay, on my off day, I'm sorry, like I can't do sports. Like if my friends go, hey, do you want to go to a ball game? Like I'm like, nope. Yeah. Like I want to go to a show, or I have to do something else. And now once you regulate yourself, like, yeah, sure, I can go to a game on my off and my off day and have a good time, but I can't. You know, I was dating this one guy, and I said, hey, do you want to go to your office Friday night? And he'd be like, why would I do that? I go, exactly. You keep asking me to go to these games. You know, and so when you know yourself well, if you physically can't take a vacation or a break, you have to find these other ways so that you can sustain yourself, so that you can do your dreams. You can have a sneaker reporter in multiple sports. Like you have that goal. But what have you decided to do like this for yourself?
That's the challenging part, you know, because when you build, you have your own brand, it's tough for you to be like, all right, I'm going to just boom. Like me having the phone on silent right now is bothering me. It does. Because I'm like, maybe I'm missing something that's going on right now that I could be posting, that I could be, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's why I had to put the phone down a little. In a way too, right? That's why I had to put the phone down a little bit during the off season. Yeah. You know, focus on the links. I focused on the links, and I was like, all right, whatever else is happening NBA wise, I don't care right now, unless it's Timberwolves. Other than that, like, let's focus on the links. But that's the hardest part, though, is when you know that, you know, you're generating money constantly through your social media, there different platforms, website, so people are looking for all that stuff. So when you know people are looking for it, you're always working, you know. So I think that's the toughest part. You know, and I do get cussed out a lot by my mom about it. But, you know, for me, like I love the grind too. And I think when you love the grind, like I respect Jim's grind, like 180 days, like I respect that, you know. And it's like a lot of people don't see that grind because it's behind closed doors. Sometimes, you know, well, Jim likes to be in front of doors, but anytime, like,
he likes to slam the doors, stick his foot in the door,
cuss at the doors.
Yep. So for me, I just, you know, when I'm grinding like that, it's also I'm doing it 17-year-old Travis, right? That was like, man, I'm watching the All-Star game on TV. Okay, now I'm there.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm always trying to just stay true to myself, and that's the biggest thing for me. So to answer your question, it's tough for me to break away from stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I always know that people are depending on me as well for information or different things that they're trying to see.
Right.
So it's like, okay, like maybe I just need an assistant. At this point.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's just what I think I need.
Yeah.
You know, I've been thinking about it and I'm like, well, maybe I just need to dish the money out and just have somebody help at this point so I can kind of take a step back.
Intern.
Intern. There you go. There you go. Yep. So if you guys got any, let me know.
I'll think about it.
All right. Let me know, Jim. Let me know. But
I will leave you with this visual.
Yeah.
They always say on an airplane, right? You have to put the oxygen on yourself first before the person next to you, right?
Yeah.
Especially so. Picture that oxygen mask dropping down in the shape of your favorite sneaker.
Okay.
And you're going to put that on your face.
Yep.
You're going to take care of Travis Singleton first.
Yep.
And then they can wait. They can wait a half a second.
I got
Because
you.
you're too valuable. Because we want to see Sneaker Reporter in every NBA city. Go into the other sports because
I've been
you're real,
trying.
man.
I appreciate that. That means a lot, Don. I've been trying for a long time. You know, I reached out to a couple of the Vikings people. You know, that would be the next level for me. Like I've always wanted to just interview Justin Jefferson, be able to just pick his brain, talk to him about, you know, on the field, off the field, his partnership with Under Armour. I know they're going to be starting his own brand now. Different things like that. Like, you know, that I want to be able to shed light on, and I know that I can. If I was able to break into like NFL stuff too. So I'm gonna keep trying with the Vikings. We're gonna see. I've reached out to a couple of people, you know, they've had me write a couple of pages on why I need to, cover the Vikings and what am I doing it for. You know, I'm gonna keep sending those pages, you know, and I'm gonna keep trying, but you know, because I feel like sometimes I'm put in a box where it's like, okay, he's just known for NBA. It's like, well, like I can go and do Major League. I love baseball just as much. When I played baseball growing up, you know, so like I actually was the best athlete in baseball. Like for me, like I sucked at basketball. I think I was great, but everybody else was like, Travis, you was just average. So you know the athlete mentality. You're like, oh, I was really good. I was average. Football and baseball, I was elite. So I love baseball and football. Like I played the game. I know the game. I watched the games. So it's just being able to get that chance, that door to crack open for those sports. And I think at that point, I'd be unstoppable. I do feel that way. So sometimes I feel like they're like, hey, we don't want to open it up because he's already doing this. You know, so we'll see what happens.
Sneaker Reporter is now elite with the cleat.
There
you
I like
go.
that. I like that.
There you go.
Hey, I'm going to market that.
There
I'm
you
going to
go.
take that.
You can take it.
Okay,
I
I'm
don't
gonna
even
take
need
it.
a footnote.
Okay. I'm going to still give you credit though.
All right. Elite with the cleat. Well, Travis, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just think you're inspiring, you're real, and you have a dream.
I do.
You put those together and you can do anything.
I thank you. I appreciate you guys' time too for, you know, having me on the show again in person this time. So it was
We'll have you on
amazing.
again during the season.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Just let me know. Like,
All right.
I don't mind pulling up. I got some famous Daves. Tried it for the first time. No plug.
You can plug it.
Hey. Y'all got to
go
give us a
ahead.
check, man. Famous Daves. Make sure you give us a check.
Famous Daves does a good job. Ain't Texas barbecue.
All right. I just tried it for the first time.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give my opinion because I need to get paid for it.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Smart man.